My girlfriend deleted my work files to teach me a lesson, so I taught her one in court. I never thought the person I loved would be capable of deliberately sabotaging my career. Yet, that was exactly what happened when my girlfriend, someone I trusted deeply, erased months of my hard work to get my attention. What started as a seemingly perfect relationship quickly unraveled into a nightmare of manipulation, betrayal, and legal consequences. I'm a 28-year-old software engineer living in Austin, Texas. My job requires dedication, long hours, and an unwavering focus on details. From designing complex software systems to troubleshooting code, my career is a central part of my identity. I take pride in my work ethic, a trait I inherited from my father, who always emphasized diligence and discipline. I believed that finding a partner who understood and respected my drive would make for a balanced and fulfilling relationship. When I first met my girlfriend, she seemed to be exactly that person. She admired my ambition, often telling me how much she loved that I was passionate about my work. In the beginning, everything felt perfect. She would listen attentively when I talked about my latest projects and seemed genuinely interested in the things I was building. We spent weekends together when my workload allowed, going out for dinner or having quiet nights in. But as time passed, her attitude began to shift. It started with small comments, little jabs that seemed harmless at first. "You're always working," she would say. "I hardly see you anymore." At first I took these as normal frustrations that any partner might have. I reassured her that once I got through a few big deadlines, we'd have more time together. I made an effort to plan getaways, setting aside weekends where we could escape the stress of work and enjoy each other's company. Despite these efforts, her resentment grew. She started getting irritated when my phone buzzed with messages from my team. If I took work calls while at her place, she would roll her eyes and sigh dramatically. The tension between us was growing, but I never imagined just how far she would go to make a point. Then, strange things started happening in my apartment. My laptop charger went missing, only to reappear in an entirely different spot days later. My external hard drive, which contained crucial backups of my projects, vanished for a full 3 days before I found it wedged deep inside the couch. I brushed it off as my own forgetfulness, unwilling to consider that she might have been behind it. But the biggest betrayal was yet to come. One night, I woke up to find her standing near my computer, her hands on the keyboard. She claimed she was looking for music, but something felt off. I had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, but I didn't confront her. The next morning, my worst fears were confirmed. When I opened my files, I found entire folders missing. Weeks of work, scheduling documents, code repositories, client reports, all gone. At first I panicked. Maybe I had misplaced them or accidentally deleted them myself. But as I searched frantically through my computer, I realized the files hadn't just been deleted. They had been wiped from the system entirely, including from the recycle bin. Even my external backup drive had been erased. It didn't take long for me to piece together what had happened. I confronted her, my heart pounding. She denied it at first, but when I pressed her, she finally snapped. "It's your fault," she shouted. "You never pay attention to me. You care more about your stupid work than you do about us." I stood there stunned. I had never felt more betrayed in my life. I knew I spent a lot of time working, but I had always believed in balancing my relationship with my career. Destroying my livelihood to prove a point was something I could never have imagined her doing. I demanded that she leave. She refused, insisting that I was overreacting and that she had only meant to teach me a lesson. But this wasn't just some small misunderstanding. She had deliberately sabotaged my job, knowing full well the consequences. Eventually, after a heated argument, she stormed out, but not before throwing a barrage of accusations my way. With her gone, I immediately tried to recover my files. I searched for hidden backups, ran data recovery software, and scoured old emails for any fragments of work I could salvage. But it was no use. The damage was permanent. I had no choice but to start over, working around the clock to recreate lost projects from scratch. The stress was unbearable. My supervisors at work demanded explanations, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them the truth. Instead, I told them my system had crashed and that I was doing everything possible to recover. As the days passed, the emotional toll of the betrayal weighed on me just as heavily as the professional damage. My father noticed how drained I had become. When I finally told him what happened, he was furious. "You can't let her get away with this," he told me. "You need to take action." At first, the idea of suing my ex-girlfriend felt extreme. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that she had caused significant financial damage. I had to hire outside consultants to reconstruct some of the lost data. I had lost money due to missed deadlines, and my professional reputation had suffered. I consulted an attorney, who assured me that I had a strong case for intentional destruction of property and financial harm. Filing the lawsuit wasn't easy. It felt surreal to turn a private heartbreak into a legal matter, but I gathered every piece of evidence I had. Text messages where she admitted to deleting my files, receipts for the consultants I had to hire, and records of my work-related expenses. Once the papers were filed, my ex exploded with rage. She bombarded me with messages, calling me heartless and accusing me of ruining her life. She spread rumors among our mutual friends, painting me as a cruel workaholic who cared more about data than relationships. She even tried reaching out to my mother, hoping to manipulate her into convincing me to drop the case. But I held firm. Instead of backing down, I documented everything. Every threat, every manipulative voicemail, every attempt to guilt-trip me. My attorney assured me that her actions only strengthened my case. Finally, the court date arrived. My father accompanied me for support. Sitting outside the courtroom, I felt a strange mix of anxiety and relief. I never wanted to see her again, but I also wanted closure. When she arrived, she looked defiant, as if she still believed she had done nothing wrong. But once the evidence was laid out, the deleted files, the financial losses, the messages where she openly admitted to her actions, the judge saw the truth. Her attempts to downplay what she had done fell flat. She tried to claim she had only deleted a few small files and never expected it to become such a big deal. But the evidence contradicted her lies. The judge ruled in my favor, ordering her to pay damages for the financial loss I had suffered. As the verdict was read, her confidence crumbled. The smug defiance she had worn at the start of the hearing was gone. She tried reaching out afterward, sending messages through mutual friends, claiming she had acted out of stress and insecurity. But I had no interest in hearing her excuses. The lawsuit was settled, and I was ready to move on. Looking back, I learned a hard lesson. Boundaries are crucial, and anyone who disrespects them is not worth keeping in your life. I took steps to protect myself. Stronger backups, better security measures, and most importantly, a stronger resolve to never let anyone undermine my hard work again. They say lessons learned the hard way are the ones you never forget. This experience taught me to value my own well-being and to never allow emotional manipulation to dictate my choices. If you've ever dealt with a toxic relationship, you know how difficult it can be to break free. But trust me, your peace of mind is worth more than any relationship that drains you. And if you've made it this far, consider subscribing. You never know when the next story might just save you from making the same mistakes.